Continue with the Operation Encore series. This one is entitled FBI Detains Abdulaziz al-Angari, who had photos of New York City landmarks taken on September 10th. Now, it's not to say that this guy was in on the September 11th attacks, but we do know from the historical record that there was going to be a second wave of attacks in regards to hitting important U.S. landmarks. Now, a lot of these September 11 attacks came from a cumulation of the landmarks plot and also Bajinka, where certain targets were going to be specifically attacked, but in time it changed from bombs to planes, because the planes would be the bomb. So this guy, Abdulaziz al-Angari, may not have been involved in the attacks, but his actions are suspicious. And I wanted to read this file because, one, you could see the hectic atmosphere happening just after the September 11 attacks. We saw this in New York specifically. And it doesn't mean that every Arab or every Muslim had to be guilty because it's a September 11 attacks were done by Islamic radical extremists who aren't even Islamic. All right. FBI New York identified Abdulaziz al-Angari as an individual of investigative interest. Al-Angari was detained by INS on September 13, 2001, after he was stopped while traveling to San Jose, California. A search of his carry-on bag revealed 4 identifications identifying al-Angari as a pilot. That's pretty interesting. Al-Angari was proffered on September 23, 2001 by the Southern District of New York. You see, this is a lot, all this is redacted. FBI New York has blank and arrived in New York on September 9, 2001 from Saudi Arabia. They were scheduled to fly on September 11, 2001 from JFK to Los Angeles aboard a TWA flight. And if you remember, I interviewed somebody named Carol Hellerman, who was on, I think, TWA 1, I think. TWA was an airline of interest to the hijackers and to other operatives. But this flight did not take off after all domestic flights were grounded on September 11, 2001, which was a good thing because Ben Sliney, the acting director of the FAA, basically on his first day at the job, saved probably hundreds of other lives, because maybe even thousands, because we do know that there was going to be a second wave of attacks. On September 15, 2001, they boarded a flight from JFK to Las Vegas via St. Louis, but were removed from the plane before takeoff because of suspicious and surveillance-conscious behavior before and after they boarded the plane. Now, you would think that, 2 days after the September 11 attacks are going to be a lot more, less suspicious. The search of their luggage yielded numerous photographs taken on September 10th, 2001. The World Trade Center, downtown Manhattan, the United Nations, and the Verrazano Narrows Bridge. Now, some of these were landmarks plot targets, which predates Bajinka. The search of blank's personal property identified a Missouri DMV identification card for blank. An individual known as blank, aka blank, who utilized the same Missouri address on the blank identification card that was found in personal property, is a suspected Osama bin Laden associate. Now, this is from the FBI's Operation Encore. Here we have a Saudi guy with acting suspicious 2 days after the attacks. Photographs taken of the World Trade Center a day before 9/11. Now, again, innocent until proven guilty. We can't say this guy was in on the plot. We don't have evidence for that. But boy, does this have a lot of smoke. Now, an individual traveling along with him is the suspected Osama bin Laden associate, Saudi Arabia. That's why we went to war with Afghanistan and Iraq. Makes sense, doesn't it? All right, guys. Thank you for tuning into the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, everybody.